call the meeting to order. Before we adopt the agenda, I wanted to mention, you will know, of course, that one of the freemen of the town, Alice Bowen, passed away, and a service was held to honor her on Saturday. And I think councillors who were able to attend. So with that in mind, to honor her, of course, service to the community over many years, and in particular her role with Philbrook Park, so we bow our heads on the moment of silence. Thank you. For this evening's agenda, we do have one small addition that we have a brief presentation here at the beginning of the meeting by the site members who are here. So with that, a motion to adopt will be in order.
Move. Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. So, gentlemen, again, you can take the podium, and many of you may wish to
come on over.
So, welcome. I know you have a brief presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Ives, and thank you, Council. We won't be long. The Cycling Club in the Valley has been around for 30 plus years. We're pretty much, from our records, say this is our 30th year anniversary. And we've got new cycling jerseys that we have got all of our members. We're now up around 90 members this year, so we've had a really good spike. So we're quite excited. And when we thought of doing new jerseys and 30th anniversary, we said, who else better to get one of our jerseys than Mayor Ives. He actually epitomizes what I hear a lot of people talk about: bike lanes and cycling and cities. He actually rides it. He actually does it. He's a great role model for other mayors too. So hopefully we'll get the guy from Courtenay eventually to ride a bike lane.
And make sure that you order extra large. Cheers. Thanks, gentlemen. Safe ride.
I'm just going to grab a quick photo then, and we'll let you go here.
You get on that side.
We'll do this. You get on that side.
There you go.
Maybe John can come right there.
Let's stand there. You stand there.
And one with Mayor Ott holding that. Are we okay? We're good? Awesome.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks.
Safe ride.
Thank you, everybody.
Sure. Take care. Safe riding. Alrighty. That'll encourage me to go out some more.
Maybe you should have got a medium.
Working towards the goal.
Everything else that shrinks in the wash.
That fit when I got it.
All right, so we'll move on to minutes of the May 17th council meeting for approval.
Move. Second.
Approval. All those in favor? Motion's carried. And we have for receipt the committee of the whole meeting minutes of May 24th.
Move receipt. Second.
Receipt them. All those in favor? Motion's carried. One committee recommendation coming out of that regarding the Comox Place condos driveway access, that the driveway entrance at 1876 Comox Avenue be modified to allow exiting without crossing the center line of Comox Avenue while using the full width of the driveway as per scenario 2 in the staff report to the committee of the whole.
I'll move that. Second.
Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. For receipt, then, we have the manager report.
Move.
Second.
On receipt, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Any questions or comments? Councillor Margaret.
Just a brief comment, sort of a heads up more than anything else regarding our organic waste collection. I would remind everybody, of course, as you see here, that the project's extended to 2018, the end of. But also, I would mention that the Solid Waste Board was granted their approval for the grant that they had to design and build a compost facility in the Campbell River, and it must be completed in the year 2020. Just something that we should keep in mind as we move forward with our own facility.
Great. Thank you. Anything further? Seeing none, we'll move on then to the next item, which is the rezoning application and development variance permit application for 1879 Comox Avenue. And perhaps I'll get our planner just to speak to this briefly. It's more of a technical amendment, but I do believe the report is self-explanatory. But you can go ahead and introduce it.
Certainly. This application, the public hearing and subsequent third reading of these applications occurred prior to the council's adoption of the new consolidated zoning bylaw 1850. So what's happened now is the applicants completed all outstanding items, and we're ready for adoption. But of course, the references in the bylaw are no longer bylaw 1377; they're the bylaw 1850. So the motions before you would adjust the proposed rezoning bylaw to reflect bylaw 1850 with otherwise no substantial changes to that bylaw, and allow it to then be adopted and referenced by law.
Any questions? Go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah, thank you. So with these changes, that's like a global change for any future developments, or are these changes just particular to this one item? Like they revised. What I'm getting at is I was not in favor of this in the first place, but if I was to vote no to this, does that mean that I'm voting no to any future amendments to the bylaw that would impact other houses, other changes?
No.
Oh,
It's specific to this one.
It's specific to this, okay.
Yep, no, fair enough.
Good question.
The consolidation, of course, we've already adopted. So.
Yeah, so we already voted for this, we're just changing. the
Yeah,
bylaw.
yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to be on the same wavelength.
So, and just to be clear too, because this neither passes or turns down this application, or is this is the
This
final
was
reading
potentially adopted if council approves
on
it.
this? Okay.
We're-
Because I wasn't at that meeting, but I think Councillor Arnott brought forward the
Correct.
words I wish to say,
Yes.
and so I personally am not in support
Right.
of
And you have the opportunity to not
speak to that when we get to it.
vote in favor or to speak to it. All right. So, first order of the recommendations is to rescind third reading of bylaw amendments 1847.
I'll move that.
Second?
On rescission, all those in favor? Motion is carried. And that the bylaw amendment now be amended to update the zoning references to the newly adopted zoning bylaw 1850.
Move.
Second?
Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. And that the bylaw as amended be given third reading.
Move.
Second?
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Move
Opposed?
adoption. Oh, sorry.
Motion's carried.
Move adoption.
Thank you.
Second?
Any further discussion?
And just
Yes.
because I didn't speak before, there was a variety of reasons, but my main concern was being on this very busy, active corner, and so that's why I'm not supporting this.
Okay, Steve? On adoption, all those in favor? Any opposed? Two opposed, motion's carried. Filing that the development variance permit be issued subject to the conditions listed in the planning report.
Move.
Second?
All those in favor? Those opposed? Two opposed, the motion's carried. I think that's dealt with all of that. Okay, so now we'll move on to the extension of Comox Downtown Revitalization Program planning report. And again, I'll just turn over to our planner to explain what's going on here. We've obviously renewed this at least once before, so I'm assuming similar provisions.
Correct. The downtown revitalization bylaw has a number of deadlines in them, and to encourage people to come forward with development, and also provides a way of monitoring, updating, and costs to the town. So the existing ones in the bylaw have now expired, or will shortly expire. So to allow the program to continue, the proposed amendments will allow it to continue. And of course, as past practice, we would come forward in a 6-month review and advise you of any updates in terms of uptake of the program.
So the two letters that we received, or emails, I should say, relate to issues around densification, concerns about heights of buildings, but what this revitalization bylaw does is simply recognize that if a project is approved and is eligible, then it would receive the funding under this program. So council still retains the ability to deal with specific issues around height and density and zoning.
Correct. It does not change the zoning on this lot.
Okay. Any further questions on that?
I'll move adoption.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried.
And there's recommendation two, I'll move that as well.
Yes, for adoption
Seconded.
of the procedures bylaw. Thank you. So let's move to the second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion is carried. See you in 6 months. Very good. Because you'll be updating us in approximately 6 months' time, and then.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So next item is the annual public reporting that the staff put together, and the recommendations are that we receive it and then potentially approve it.
Move. Second.
Received. Dan, all in favor? Motion's carried. Any questions on the statement of financial information? So the next recommendation is that it be approved,
Move.
and this will be included in our annual report for 2016, and then filed ultimately with the ministry once we approve it. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Okay, then there is additional annual public reporting, and this is around the development cost charges, continuity schedule, and the schedule of permissive exemption bylaws.
So I move receipt of that.
On receipt, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Are there any questions or comments regarding that? You can see where our DCC reserves are at the end of 2016, as well as the information, of course, on the annual property tax exemptions, which we deal with every October. All right, so we'll move on to Development Variance Permit Application 17.4, which is on Dakota Place. And staff from the planning department have provided this. Perhaps a brief introduction from the planner would be in order.
Certainly. This is in regards to a previously issued DVP, DVP 1610, which for a number of properties on the south side of Dakota Place, in essence, increased the rear yard setback and decreased the front yard setbacks on the south side of Dakota Place. And the reason for that was there was a number of covenant designed for retention to be protected by covenant. And they were in the backyard, and what happened was during construction, they started to find out that the view zones that they would have to stay out extended much further than anticipated. And so what that was doing was decreasing the buildable envelope, creating sort of conflict with buildable envelope and tree protection. So that building envelope, by increasing the rear yard setback, reducing the front, essentially shifted forward. And that way we allowed for retention of trees. Subsequently, on further examination, the applicant determined that there were a number of lots where that wasn't necessary. There was no conflict with the trees, retention of trees, and it had a negative impact of affecting sort of the building line on those areas. So hence, the application DVP 17.4 is to rescind previous development variance permit application on those lots where further investigation would be evidenced that it wasn't necessary.
All right, thank you for that. Any questions on that report?
We'll move that we issue that variance permit.
Second that. Essentially, we're restoring what the original requirements were for those lots.
Back to the future.
And we're confident that there won't be any impact on the trees by doing this.
Not if we pass this. If we don't, then the trees have to come down.
Okay, that sounds like a very clear
Yeah.
cut statement then.
All right, so any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. All righty. Correspondence. So we have a letter from Tilburg Heritage Lodge and Park Association regarding their Adopt a Tree initiative.
receipt of that.
I think they're looking for a letter of support.
And yeah, grant them a letter of support.
Yeah, I'll second. Good idea. Any discussion on that?
Just comment. It sounds like a very good idea. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, I should just say that they're very excited about it, and it came out of the need for new funds, but also the fact that some of the signs that have been there have fallen and they've been put on the wrong trees, and it just needs some work. So they thought that this would be a great way of creating another asset in the park.
And it is.
And the need for this letter is a little bit time sensitive because they want to apply for a grant. So.
Okay, well, if it's approved tonight, we'll get it over as soon as we can. All right, any other questions, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Motion's carried. Next item of correspondence is the annual letter regarding the Nautical Days 4-mile road race on Monday, August 7th.
So we'll receipt and we grant their request, or they're looking for a request.
The usual request.
Yeah.
And they've also requested specifically that Councillor McKinnon participating.
I'll move that one.
I'm not sure I can support this motion.
Athletic supporter.
It's a great community event. It kicks off the Nautical Days.
It's okay, they'll bring a calendar out to time me. All those in favor? Motion's carried. All right, so the last item of correspondence were related to the downtown revitalization tax exemption bylaw.
Receipt of that?
Second.
Receipt then, all those in favor? Motion's carried. The correspondence then is completed. No other late items or delegations. We'll move on to reports from members of council. So we'll start with Councillor Price.
Okay, so I did attend the last Pump Station number 2 open house, and it was quite a smaller group, and it was very well run and seems to be very productive and very focused on design and those sorts of concerns. And the design is actually very interesting with the grass roof, with flowers. So it's a work in progress, and then July we will hear whether there are any showstoppers and how this work will all come together. I went to the Berwick Oak Art exhibit, the oak tree that came down there, and yeah, there's some amazing pieces of work, and Berwick is such an incredible place. We're upstairs to really showcase what they're doing. I attended the Regional District Board meeting, and apart from passing, we mentioned what came up through the committees. We did have Stephen Watson from BC Hydro talking about controlling the flow and the safety measures that they're increasingly adding to prevent public safety issues when they have to release water. And there will be a closure to the penstock system for safety reasons during construction. And we did have the new regional district building design presented, and that's moving ahead. The school district has not yet decided if they want to have the third floor built. And Father Charles Brandt was awarded the 2017 BC Community Achievement Award on behalf of BC Achievement Foundation. As Father Brandt couldn't get down to Victoria, they had the sheriff board make a presentation. Very nicely done. And that is about it. And also I attended the Integrated Transportation Advisory Committee, and there is a workshop coming up which I believe our staff will be at, so it will be inter-staff, jurisdictional, and the Ministry of Highways, so see what comes out of that.
Is that specific to Comox Road? Or
Yes, to how we can move that project forward, and how it connects in Fort Meade and Comox, and I believe the First Nations are going to be involved, so that would be a wider discussion, but it is a staff orientated workshop.
Okay.
And I did go to Alice Bullen's memorial service along with other councillors, and I had the privilege of being able to say a few words on behalf of the town. Looked very well. And I just was at a Sewage Commission agenda review meeting today. And I'm being a tourist in my own town. I've got a visitor and very impressed by the sales. They were saying, you need to put some tables up with umbrellas, but it was amazing. The tables were all packed, weekday, eating food, the tables with they come with the little fish and chip van, and it was, so it moves people, as Councillor Anas has been saying, it moves people more into the whole boardwalk and the structure of it. Look gorgeous. Lots of people down there. So that's my report.
Thank you. Councillor McKinnon.
Yeah, short and sweet. I also attended the Woodworth Open House Gary Oak Wood Art display. Very nice to see that legacy of Gary Oaks continue on with artists, local artists here. I attended the CVED's AGM at the Comox First Nations boardroom, band hall, I should say. The Ray Crosley Youth Awards nomination committee meeting, and with the permission of council, I'd like to bring some nominations to the next committee of the whole meeting, if that works out well. Sure. Attended on Saturday the Vancouver Regional Library Board meeting in Miami, and I left some summer promo stuff in some of your mailboxes, councillors. You can take a look at that. Attended the Alice Bullen service, and not only did Councillor Price speak well, but many others there. It was very fitting to have a minute of silence today. I'll replace the mayor there at the Highland grad ceremonies at Filbert Park. How lucky we are every time you go there to the grad ceremonies to see Filbert Park in our community and it being used in such a setting. And finally, we had the Homeless Coalition meeting today at the Courtney Library at noon. And council would be interested that 4 regional government planners spoke regarding affordable housing initiatives in our community. And without bias whatsoever, I thought our planner was the best spoken and the best dressed of the. But it was very well received, and that cooperation and is being well served, I think, by our community all the way around. So kudos to the planners that came and spoke there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Margaret.
Thank you. I too attended the service for the Freeman of the City, Alice Bullen, and I would like to say that our Councillor Price spoke so very well on behalf of the town and this council, and I know Alice would appreciate it. It was so well done. Also attended the 1700 Balmoral Development Open House, and I have to say that although there weren't a lot of people at the time that I arrived, those that were there said, for goodness sakes, don't take too long to get this out, please. So that was rather encouraging. They're looking for room. Also, I attended the town's capital projects down at the Twin Sails. It was great to walk in there. And the Berwick Open House was good, and the CVED's AGM. And of course, I guess as we all have been doing, promoting our Twin Sails and getting very positive responses. And also, just a final note though, the D'Estaire seniors are having an open house this coming Sunday, June 11th from 2 to 4. And I'll just remind everybody that membership is 50 and over, so you're all welcome.
Gee, thanks.
Thanks for that reminder.
I would also say that they do offer a wide variety of activities there. They're a very active group. They have 833 members, not that I'm bragging, and 50 life members. So they would be so pleased if more than just this one council was to attend.
All right.
Between 2 and 4, you said?
2 and 4.
Councillor Kendra.
Well, I attended the regional district meeting, and Barbara already spoke about that. I also attended the capital projects open house, and that was actually, that was a good thing. I did bump into Gord Schreiner, who ended up selling me an emergency preparedness backpack for $65, and they're in conjunction with the Rotary Club, so those are usually about $130. So there's a good deal if you want one. I haven't paid them yet, so I'm free so far. But what I do, it's half price. It's one of those things where you always think you should have one, and every time you hear one of these things on the radio, you think, and then you forget. So.
What's in it?
Well, God, there's a whole pile of stuff. It's heavy too. So there's 10.
You haven't opened it yet, have you?
Yeah. Well, there's 10 lamps and lights, candles, there's enough food to get you through for a couple of days. Yeah, so it's a pretty extensive package of stuff that's in there,
And you want $75.
and I'll sell it to you for $100.
Do we have the fire?
Yeah, they're at the fire hall, yeah. And so how it's working is Rotary's with them, so that's how you're getting a bit of a discount on them right now. So if the deal is still on, so it's a good deal. I also attended FCM in Ottawa this week, so I ended up going to dinner with the president of Community Safety Analysis Group. And a group from Motorola Canada was there, and a whole bunch of, there was quite a few distinguished government people at this meeting. It was all about the hub intervention for youth at risk, so the idea is to intervene before they actually get into problems, and it's the use of technology that they would use to make this work. It was a pretty interesting thing. And got home and found out that we actually have one of these up and running in Campbell River, and it's so they're having some growing pains with it, but it seems to be the new wave. I also attended a broadband for remote communities, and they were talking about 5G networks, so the new thing, and really it was all about how to get better broadband to communities, and to some communities there is none, so it was all about how they do that and structure it and what some of the new technologies coming out. And I went to a community safety and the use of technology to get better outcomes. So this was sort of on the same theme as the first one, but this was more about if there is an incident that the police get called to, how they can use technology to make sure that the right people show up to the call. It's not always the police that should be the right person. It could be almost, a myriad of different groups of people, and how they can use technology with cameras and things so they can see better and have people online so that a group of people can be watching what's going on. So it was pretty interesting. Of course, the Privacy Commissioner's secretary was there, so that's all plays a part of it, so it was kind of interesting. And I also talked to a guy at the expo about the opportunity of converting water parks to skating rinks in the winter.
Oh, that would be great.
So all you need is money. Well, you know what? To put a decent-sized rink down there is about $200,000, and it's portable, so you can move it around. You could actually rent it out if you wanted to, and it's real ice.
I
It's
think
not
it would
that.
be great.
It's not that. So, I think we need to. Where's Dawn? But I think it's something that some of our community groups could really get behind and see if we could come up with something, because it seemed like a really interesting and good. I think would keep the vibrancy down in the park throughout the season. So, and they do have one in Nanaimo if we want to go have a look, and there's also one at Fairmont in Victoria. So they do work in this climate. So anyway, that's my report.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Arnott.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, I too attended the Berwick Oak exhibit, and I think it was 62 artists were giving pieces of the oak trees from in front of the Berwick, and did some amazing work with it. Really well done. The CVED's AGM, Capital Projects down at the Twin Sales building, and the FCM as well, and attended some good study tours and heard from some great speakers, so it was a good event.
All right, and you got to see question period.
And I got to see question period, and that was quite interesting. The Prime Minister was there, and on my way out, I happened to stumble upon him greeting the Chilean president as she was coming in on the red carpet treatment, and then on my way back to the hotel, I had to wait because I couldn't get in the elevator because she was coming in that way. So we were bound to be meeting there sometime. So that was good, and I think that's why Ottawa, the weather wasn't that great the whole time we were there, because it was a little chilly.
Chili, very good.
Work it in somehow.
Councillor's going to have to drop that.
Okay, I attended the Berwick Open House, as most of you did. In conversation with one of the artists there, they were curious and interested in pursuing maybe having an art show down in the Marina building. So hopefully they will pursue that, and it'll work for them. Attended the CVED's AGM, and that was interesting as always, and the capital projects open house that was down there. I attended the FCM, and in preparation for our tree bylaws this year, I went on the study tour of urban forestry, and I attended some workshops on policy creation and urban forestry. Besides meeting delegates from across the country, I spent time at the trade show, learning about different paving treatments, waste management, and of course, most interesting of all, the portable outdoor skating rink. And that's my report.
That was a popular booth, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The report for me will only last half an hour because that's what time we've got. Try to read.
All those in favor?
Since our last meeting, I attended the events in Cumberland for Empire Days, the parade, and May Queen lunch. Always well attended and well appreciated. We had a teleconference, and I participated as a member of the Local Government Contract Management Committee. That's for the RCMP contract, so just an update on where things are going from the national level meetings at that, and they're still working on the auxiliary program in terms of training. Not much else to report there. Met with the residents regarding the 1700 Balmoral project and anticipation of that open house that you attended. Concerns, as always, about traffic and traffic calming, which of course we're going to hear about in the future from staff. The CVAD's AGM was well attended. Keynote presenter there was talking about the tech industry, the future of all things tech, and how that's going to impact all of us. And it was interesting to hear Graham Truax talk about connectivity, pointing out that people nowadays can do a lot just from using their phones, as long as they've got some sort of access to the network. So I know our CAO is working on some of those issues in terms of trying to determine where the town could help encourage and support some of the tech industry here. ICE-T had its Coastal Economic Trust had its board meeting, and that was just to talk about the $10 million, which the province had indicated in its last budget that we were going to receive to top up. Of course, the check's not yet in the mail, but we're anticipating, hopefully over the next few months, that will happen. Don't anticipate any problems with that, but you never know with the uncertainties in Victoria these days. The Capital Projects Open House, I thought was well attended when I was there. And then FCM, of course, has been mentioned. The keynote speakers from all the political parties federally were there. Some of the plenary sessions on rural economic development I thought were quite appropriate. Study tours were good on transit and other issues that are relevant to us. The one workshop that I thought was most use that I attended was one on stakeholder engagement, talking about how a stakeholder or public engagement plan can link through to your strategic plan. And it's sort of apropos, again, what the CAO and I have been talking about in terms of how to better engage the public. First, in a few minutes we'll have a public hearing, but there's other ways and means, open houses. And the general sense of it was, just looking for this quote here, go to where the people are, whether you're doing that online or in person. And of course, always speak in plain language. And try not to filter your commentary.
Are you hearing that?
Those people involved with, for example, the pump station debate, we've learned that in spades. So it's something that I think we'll probably be looking at over the next little while here to try to fill in some gaps in terms of some of our social media and some of our engagement with the public. One of the case study that they had us all work on was actually quite apropos. It was about water pumps going into a park area. So it was a good discussion around the table. From my table had people from all across Canada with some of their different views and how they deal with things. I thought it was quite good, and I think it's always something that we need to work on and we always improve on. And I know we're doing a pretty good job at it, but I think something we can look forward to getting some help on from those in the field. So other than that,
Is this where you sing and dance for half an hour?
Nope.
How's that going?
that's all I've got to say about the FCM. Lots of informal networking opportunities. And chats with people, whether you're at the various receptions or just waiting in the airport, coming and going. And it seems as though you get there and the next thing you know, you're going home, so it goes very fast. That's all I have to report, so we'll adjourn the council meeting once we hear if there's any media questions. Any questions from members of the public? So we'll adjourn till 6:30 and we'll reconvene for the public hearing. So a motion to adjourn. Vote. All in favor? That's carried.